I don't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about Kim Davis and what happened there and your feelings
Sure.
around that.
Sure, no, and Rich, you have to understand, Kim Davis is not a homophobe. She has gay friends, you know.
Naturally.
So, I mean, that solves it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. As someone from the LGBT community, I can tell you that these gay friends probably are made up. They're probably in their head. But if they do have gay friends, then gay people who are friends with Kim Davis, you probably want to find a new friend. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you know, you could be friends. You could put aside the disagreements. Like, I have people in my family who are very, very conservative, and you know. But I mean, if they disagree with me on something that's like fundamental, like, you know, my civil rights, my ability to marry my fiance, then I think that, you know, that's a little bit offensive, and I take it personally, as I should. You know, so my whole stance is, and people, you know, will disagree with me, maybe even in the LGBT community, they might disagree, that, you know, if your support for LGBT rights is not unequivocal, then, you know, you're not with us, you're not an ally. So I mean, like with the John Kasich comment, a lot of people were saying, oh, wow, you know, the Republican Party changed, but what was his first line? He's like, you know, I'm in favor of traditional marriage, but I went to a gay wedding. I'm like, okay, cool. So, I mean, still given the opportunity, I mean, would you vote down, you know, whoever you went to their marriage? They're right. I mean, if that came up again, not that that would be, you know, an issue. I wouldn't expect to see that on the ballot. But, I mean, if it did, would you vote down their rights? You're in favor of traditional marriage. I mean, the support's got to be unequivocal, and that you know, that goes past the LGBT community. You know, it's for the African American civil rights movement, which is ongoing. You know, for against Islamophobia, for all these movements. You know what I mean? You got to be a supporter, because if you're not, that's like the antithesis of the U.S. You know, we're about freedom and letting people do what they want to do and supporting their rights. To quote Reza Aslan, he says that, you know, civil rights and democracy, you know, this isn't a buffet. You can't pick and choose which people have which rights. You know, either you're with everyone for their civil rights, or you're not an ally. So don't call yourself an ally. But yeah, with the Kim Davis thing, it's crazy. I cover it because I think it's funny, you know, on my channel, just because it's something that's so ridiculous. And I know a lot of people are tired of hearing about Kim Davis, but I mean, I think that she's going to be in the civil rights portion, you know, of history books under gay rights. You know, she's going to be that one judge, or excuse me, the one county clerk that was the holdout, you know, in Kentucky, I think it is the state. So yeah, I think it's important. I really do.
Yeah, I think the history is going to look back at this period in time and look at different people and where they stood and what they said, and have some. Hopefully, the perspective would be that it was kind of absurd that we allowed this in such a modern era and all those things. Like when Trump was on Colbert last night talking about whether Obama was born in the United States. He's just like said he's served up as a saucy meatball, and he couldn't just say, yeah, he was born in the United States. Why? Yeah. That's you know, like, couldn't just say that.
Right.
And so I was just going to say, and I think it all carries around together, is just like when people, whether it's black folks or LGBT or LBGT, folks, or wherever it is, there's this kind of repetition that no matter whether the Supreme Court gives you the rights or whatever, that people are always going to question your validity as a person. Right. That you, because of these immutable characteristics about yourself, you're always going to be a part, or you're never going to be a part of this other group that gets to decide who's in the club and who's out of the club. And you're always going to be looked at as other, no matter how successful you are, no matter how many doctorates you get, no matter, you know, what schools you go to, you're just going to always be this other and be outside. And so I think that it's important to speak up about when we see these things happening, so that we don't allow ourselves to think that that's normal and okay.
Right. No, that's such a great point, because, like, I mean, it kind of, I mean, being gay is not a bad thing, obviously, but I mean, to be introduced as, yeah, this is my gay brother, you know, or, you know, my gay friend, it's kind of dehumanizing in a way, because that's like such a small fraction. I don't remember that I'm even gay until people remind me. Like, oh yeah, you have a boyfriend. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gay, you know, because I mean, my life
doesn't. That's the thing, you know, like that needs to be, like, yeah, it's not just yeah, you know, like nobody's like, you're straight, right, when you're going on to an interview or whatever. Like, that's not what generally comes up.
Right. No, this is my straight white friend. Her name is Brenda. You know.
Yeah. Exactly. You're just that. You get to be that person, and you get to be just that person, or as much of that person as you want to be, or as little of that person as you want to be, whenever you want to be it. Whereas some people have to wear these identity tags around with them, and sometimes they linger even whether they can submerge them or not. Sometimes they linger anyway, and like
Right.
it's a part of our society, and that I think needs to be brought up and needs to be especially part of the progressive movement.